Okay, hi everybody. I'm Liz Gerber. I'm a professor in the Ford School of Public Policy. My training is in political science, and I've been at the Ford School since about 2001. The Ford School is a professional school. It's a multidisciplinary social science professional program, and a huge part of our mission, our objective, is to figure out creative ways to provide students with both the classroom training that they need to be smarter, more creative, more thoughtful professionals, but also to provide them with hands-on opportunities to use their skills, their training, their backgrounds in new and exciting ways that better prepares them to be policy professionals. And many of our students come with significant prior professional background and training. I think at this point we're about 20% come straight out of undergrad, but most have quite a bit of work experience already. So one of the big challenges that we face in the school is to find opportunities for students to go into applied settings, into real-world settings with organizations that give them the kind of experience they need while helping them build and develop their curricular work as well. So one of the things that we do, we have a sort of a suite of things that we do in the Ford School to provide these engaged learning experiences to our professional students. One of the things we do is our Applied Policy Seminar. This is a regular offering within the master's program, although we're thinking about ways to expand it to the bachelor's as well as, in some ways, possibly to our PhD programs as well. And the key characteristics of the program are that it's a semester-long elective. It's supervised, so it's not just an internship where students go off and work in an organization, but there's a classroom, a curricular component where the faculty member is guiding the students' projects and research. It's client-based in the sense that the students are working with and for a real-world client, which is a really important part of their experience. It's not just that they're going off and doing research, but they're actually working with an organization, helping them identify and solve problems that are important to the organizations themselves. It's project-based in the sense that there's a beginning, a middle, and an end to what they do. So it's not just an internship where they go and hang out in an organization, but they have a project that they start and finish over the course of the semester. It's a course, so there's curriculum as well as the project. And a key part of it is that students are working in small teams. This is a characteristic of the work environments that many of them will go off and spend the rest of their careers in. And so working through many of the challenges of doing work in teams is a big part of the Applied Policy Seminar. So this is just a list of some of the client organizations that the students have worked with over the last, this is since 2010, since I've been working on the course. And so I just put it up here mainly so that you can see how big the range of organizations are. And this is really important for this program, and I think in any school that's trying to create this kind of an experience for students where it's client-based, it's faculty-led, or at least faculty-supervised. One of the big challenges that we face here at the university is how to find organizations like these. I've had quite a lot of support from the Ford School. I've also spent a lot of time developing relationships with people in all these organizations. That's fun to me. I enjoy it. So, but this is one of the big challenges that a lot of schools face to try to get clients from the public sector, the private sector, the nonprofit sector that focus at the local level, at the state level, at the national level, at the international level, that are working across all different sorts of policy areas in public health and economic policy and social policy and so on and so forth. So yeah, so just to give you a sense of the kinds of folks we're working with. So these are some of the things that the students get out of the Applied Policy Seminar. Again, it's a semester-long supervised consulting project course with a client. And so one of the things that is hard to teach in the classroom is the range of substance that the students get. They get both deep and wide substantive training on a topic. They're studying things like region-wide recycling programs or public health issues in East Africa, or we did some work with Washtenaw County last semester looking at some of their challenges in combining services across different governmental units. So it would be impossible to teach students all of the substance that they get to learn in those settings. And so a lot of the feedback that we get is that they just learn deeper about the substance of the topics when they get to actually dig into a project. They learn a lot about a client organization. So here they're understanding things like the organizational culture and how to manage expectations with a client and what it's like to work in the private sector versus maybe their experience that they've already had in the public sector and so on. A huge part of it is project/team/interpersonal management. So they're, the projects are often ambiguous and vague and difficult, and the students all come in from different places and have different demands on their times and different work ethics and different strengths and different weaknesses, and so figuring all of that out is key. And I think to all of us who care about engaged learning and engaged scholarship, this is one of the things that we realize we can't teach in the classroom. We can lecture all day long about interpersonal relationship building. That would be a silly way to try to teach that. So this is a great way to teach it. Time management, enough said. Communication, both between themselves and with their clients and with me. And then all of the kinds of personal growth that students get from working hard, working towards goals, towards deadlines, for not just a grade, but for an organization that's doing something in the world that the students care about. But of course, the challenges are there. And so what I'm hoping is that in the discussion, I've tried to give you a little flavor of what we do in the Applied Policy Seminar. Hopefully many of you are working on similar kinds of initiatives in your own schools and your own units, and I imagine that many of the challenges that I face are similar to the ones that you face too. So I hope that we can have some conversation about this part. We can talk all day about how great it is to do engaged scholarship, and it is, and it's good to talk about it, but it's also, I think, really important to share our experiences on the challenges. So managing expectations, both amongst the students and amongst the clients. Often the clients that we have working with our students have never done this before. They've never had teams of students, and they may have had professional consultants, maybe not. They may have had interns, maybe not, and helping them understand what, in my case, a team of master's students working as, at a high level professionally, but also working in an academic context, what that means for a client organization is really challenging. Working within the academic calendar is something that we all wish we didn't have to do. Most projects don't actually run from September to December or from January to April, but finding ways to fit our work into that calendar. Meeting curricular requirements. So, this is a class. It's a 3-credit class in the Ford School. So how do you balance what happens in a classroom setting with what happens in the field and then bring that back in so that the students have a sort of a legitimate educational experience. Evaluation. I know we have some ideas about how to evaluate these experiences, but how do you involve clients in that evaluation process? How do you go beyond simply surveys or focus groups, but get a better sense of what the learning outcomes actually are? Oops, went the wrong way. And finally, how do you scale it up? So these kinds of projects are extremely labor intensive. Needless to say, that takes a lot of time. And so how do you do this on a larger scale so that more and more students can get this kind of experience within the constraints that we all face? So I look forward to our discussion. Oh, long-term engagement, that was the last thing. So how do you continue to have that kind of engagement with the clients? Thanks.